Hi, I'm Bart Hansen. I'm the owner and lead instructor for CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the instructions in the video description. Pavlos is actually calling in about an online hand. Now, if you guys have been following me for the last 6 months, you know that I'm involved with the PKC project, which I have promoted, and I've worn their patches. And I know the owner, and I know the head of security, and I have known them for years since I used to go back and give lessons in China, which is the only reason why I'm involved with it. But Pavlos is a guy that's played what? How many hands have you played on there, would you say?
Um, Somewhere 65,000 so far.
65,000, and it's eight-handed with an ante. What level do you play at, like in Yuan?
Uh, when you first started promoting the site,
Yeah.
I started with very low,
Uh-huh.
121, and then eventually I went to 248,
Okay.
and then 5, 10, 20, and now 10, 20, 40.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes.
So the conversion is about 7 to 1. So if you're playing 10, 20, 40, it's like $6 in the third blind. And the games are eight-handed with an ante. So it's been
Yes.
pretty good games, you would say, the last 6 months?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Cool.
I mean, up to 5, 10, 20,
Yeah.
it's really soft. Then it starts getting players become better at 10, 20, 40, but you still, if you do a good game selection, you can find very good tables.
Yeah, you still get a bunch of punters, and the site is still 90% Chinese players. So only open to Chinese and North American residents, which I think has helped. But you got an interesting hand. This is played at 10, 20, 41. Is that right?
Yes, 10, 20, 40 with 2-1 ante.
Okay, so again, the conversion is about 7 to 1. We'll probably put this up in the graphics maybe as dollars because that's what our template is. But just divide by 7 for the dollar. So 10, 20, 40 with the 2 ante. They actually offer 2 levels of antes. I know there can be a larger ante, but okay. And how deep are the stacks?
We have around 5,800.
Okay.
And the villain has. We're on the straddle.
Okay.
The villain, who is in the big blind, has 3,700.
Okay, so 3,700 effective. So just under 100 big blinds. Okay.
Yeah. So the big blind, it folds around to him, and he completes. And we have 6 of clubs, 6 of spades.
So folds all the way around, eight-handed. Small blind folds, big blind limps, and you have 6-6 in the big blind.
Yeah, and I decided to raise. I think it's pretty standard.
Yep.
170.
Okay, so Kiro raises to 170. There's been a lot of stuff about sort of tournament structures with an ante into the small blind. This is similar. I know Conlon and I over on Top Section talked quite a bit about 3 blind configuration with an ante where a lot of times you, from sort of the second blind, whether you call that the small blind or the big blind in a 2 or 3 big blind game, like in a tournament when there's 2 blinds, it's like a limp range pretty much. You'll see folds, but you'll see like the small blind limp call, limp fold, limp raise. I actually won a big pot in the main event. I'm going to be doing a vlog on that in day 4 where I limp jammed pocket 9s in the small blind, and I got up against Ace King and I won. So it's not like because this guy limped that it's necessarily weak. But yes, I agree. You definitely have a raising hand, so you make it 170. Okay.
Okay, the pot is 385.
So big blind calls 385. Okay.
Yeah, he called.
Yep.
And the pot is 385.
Yep.
So flop comes 3 of spades, 6 of hearts, 10 of diamonds.
Pretty good flop for you. 10, 3, 6, rainbow, and you have pocket 6s.
Correct.
Okay.
He checks.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't see me betting this flop. I thought, the only hand that could give me action, the way I saw it, was a 4-5, maybe.
I mean, I understand that I understand that you have a big hand here and the board is sort of dry, but I do think that there's going to be, when you look at that limp call range from that second blind, I do think that there'd be a fair amount of tens here. Like off-suited Broadways would sort of limp in. What hands is he limping with here that's totally missed this board? Besides like maybe a king queen or a queen jack, because if you were to look at like 8-9, 5-7, any hand that's not paired that's playable as a limp call, like some of those suited connectors, wouldn't they all be gut shots? So my inclination on this board texture would actually just to bet small, like 100 to 150 or something like that. But it sounds to me like you checked.
Yeah, I checked.
I just think that there's a lot of tens and there's a lot of gut shots and pairs that are going to call on this flop. It's interesting when you look at it, when you look at the limp calling range from the small blind or big blind. But okay, so you check behind.
Yeah. So the turn is a 4.
Okay.
And completes the rainbow.
Completes the rainbow. So that would be the 4 of clubs. So it's 3 of spades, 6 of hearts, 10 of diamonds, 4 of clubs.
Yeah, 4 clubs.
Yep.
And he checks again.
Okay.
And I start betting, and I bet 190.
Okay.
And he raises to 700.
So big blind raises to 700. So you bet 190, and he raises just under 4x. So obviously, there are 2 straights out there. There's 5-7, there's 5 deuce, and I don't know if he's taking a line of like, say, check raising the turn with like a middling 2 pair. Like I don't, you know what I mean, like a 6-4 type of hand or something like that. It seems kind of odd to me. I think more people would just come out and sort of bet for value / protection with those hands. So it's certainly kind of interesting. Does he have like a 10-6 suited that's a limp call from there? We talk about 5-7 suited. I don't know if he's supposed to be calling with like 5 deuce. I tend to dismiss 5 deuce. So right now you're really only behind a like 5-7. I guess tens would, at this stack depth, you would think that tens would be a limp raise. It's kind of an interesting spot, right? Interesting configuration. So I think on the surface, people look at this as like a call on a rainbow board, which I think I'm fine with, but I would be shocked if you don't have the best hand right now.
So you don't go over the top. You just the 700?
I think that you could definitely
he
have
has 28. Yeah, he has 28-55 behind.
I think you could have a limp. I think you could have a 3-bet range here, but because like the pot is so large, once you call, the pot's going to be what, like 1,700?
1,785.
So if you think that he might have some bluffs here with like a check raise, or you're just going to get the money in anyways, I can see flatting. It's kind of hard to screw this hand up because it's not that deep, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What did you do?
I just called.
Okay.
I tried to put him on a hand that we beat, and he will go with.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it. I said 5-7 got there. What else could he check raise? Even 10-6, I think he would lead because the board becomes a little bit scary with a 4.
Yeah.
So I thought any 2 pair there, they're going to lead.
Right. No, that's my first inclination too. I don't have a problem with the call. It's just that it's not like you're going to fold to like a jam on a brick either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, there can be some straightening action cards, but you're right. It's sort of like, well, he doesn't really have a whole lot of like middling 2 pairs that play this as a check raise. Maybe some of the 10s up, but even then. So I can sort of see what you're saying. Could be pair plus straight draw, like a 5-3 type of hand. Something like that to get you off of a 4, to get you off of a 6, something like that. But you call.
I call.
Yep.
And the river comes a 7.
So the river is a 7. So it completes the straight if you had a 5. And the pot is like, what, like 18 and change? And he's
1785.
Okay, 1785, and he's got, what, like 2100 left? Something like that?
28.
Oh, he's got 2800 left.
I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because he started 37. Yeah, he has around 2800.
Okay. So what happens?
And he checks.
And now he checks.
He checks.
Okay. I mean, I would think that you have to go for value here, I would think. I would think so. I mean, I don't know if he's going to check a 5 here. You say that there's no backdoor draw out there.
No.
There's no backdoor draw out there on the turn, so it would seem ludicrous to check a 5 here, I feel like. Because if you're checking a 5, you're doing it to basically induce a bluff. I'm talking about from your opponent's perspective, right? You're doing it to induce a bluff. So I don't know why somebody would check a 5 here when you go bet call, because there isn't a whole lot that you're going to be, I wouldn't think, bluffing with. So if he's not checking a 5, you've got the best hand here. Then the question goes back to like, well, what did he check raise turn with? I mean, I guess it could be 3s, it could be 4s, it could be something else that's other than a 5. But I think that I would definitely go for value. I mean, it's a cash game, right? So it's not like you don't want to value cut yourself. Like when you play in a tournament, you make some nitty sort of checkbacks. You make some sort of like nitty rollovers because if you're wrong, you're going to basically burn off chips, and chips lost are worth more than chips gained. So he checked, and what did you decide to do?
I checked behind. I mean, I couldn't see him. The thing is, what hand does he put me on? When I call his turn check raise.
Yeah.
So I could. I mean, if I have an overpair, do I bet that?
Well, actually,
I don't think so.
You know what it's funny is that just from some of the work that I've done with Top Section with Conlon, you're supposed to try to find some bluffs in a spot like this, and I bet that those bluffs come from possibly having aces that checks back the flop, as crazy as that sounds, and maybe a hand like 3-4. I'm serious. I'm talking about constructing bluffs here at the end. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that that's real. I'm from sort of a equilibrium perspective. I'm trying to come up with like on 10, 6, 3, 4 the types of bluffs that you might have. Is 7-8 double gutted here? Yeah, 7-8. That's another one. I think that's a perfect one, right? 7-8, which is a gut shot on the flop and then double gutted on the turn that you lead. So I think 7-8's a great candidate to turn into a bluff. So you checked back, and what did the opponent reveal?
He had 3s. He dropped a set. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think that I would just go for value at the end. I mean, go for small value. You don't even have to polarize, really. I mean, I would just go for small value, maybe something like 600 or 700. I just can't imagine this guy checking a 5 here, basically, given that action. Is sort of what I think about it. But Pavlos, I appreciate it. Like I said, Pavlos has played on PKC now since the beginning, since it opened in North America back in February, and he's put in a ton of hands. So thanks for the call, Pavlos. I appreciate it. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out CrushLivePoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.